Central Jersey. Good morning to you. It's Bert. Wow, temperature kind of jumped. 76, partly cloudy. We'll get up about 90 today. Somerset Patriots baseball coming up this morning at 11 here on WCTC. We still have to get to our need-to-know things here on this program, and we'll get to that coming up in just a bit. My guest who was with me on the Miller Lite Jersey Central Newsmaker Hotline, no stranger, of course, to WCTC, a former talk show host here, doing great work now with at the municipal level and things that she's doing. She'll come by on occasion to talk about water safety and water park safety and just tremendous work that she's done, and a great friend, too, on top of that. Maybe that's what I like best about her. It's Judith Leblein, who is back with us here. Judith, good morning. It's Bert Barron. How are you?
Good morning, Bert, and ditto. You have such a wonderful, upbeat show, and I so enjoy talking with you, and I miss all the listeners. I had a wonderful time at WCTC.
Well, you're certainly a bright spot in our history here, Judith, and there's no doubt about that. But the work you're doing now is so important.
Well, today is a very serious call, and I have been passionate about drowning prevention for over 40 years. My parents knew the value of teaching us to swim. Even though my mother could not swim, she was determined to make sure we were swimming, and she was always just an arm's length away, even though she wasn't a strong swimmer, never, ever left us alone. So today I'm calling really on behalf of the Summit Family Aquatic Center, where we take safety seriously, but also the World Water Park Association and the New Jersey Recreation and Park Association. We are all joined together to try to spread this word about drowning prevention. And I'm sad to say that, we've had some incidents in New Jersey. Last year we had the highest number of drownings, both adults and children, in a very long time, and I'm afraid we're inching up. And most of it, Bert, is avoidable.
Yeah.
Summertime around the water, it's joyous. It should be a relaxing time. But parents of children in particular can never relax around water because they are curious, they want to be in the water. But we as parents, adults, guardians, we have to make sure that they are safe and that we are never more than an arm's length away from our children.
It can't just be the old, well, I just turned my back for a second, or I just ran in the house real quickly. Absolutely unacceptable, right?
It happens in the best of families with the best intentions. Drowning is quick, it is silent, and it does not discriminate. Young, old, rich, poor, it doesn't matter. And, lifeguards are at the ocean. Lifeguards are at water parks around the world. They're there in case something happens. Parents are the real lifesavers.
Yeah.
If your child's in the water, you need to be too. And lifeguards can help if something goes wrong, but we need parents to feel responsible. And it has to be active supervision too, Bert. It can't just be, I'm on the chaise lounge and I'm nearby, because kids will always go further, try more, and we have to watch them. And we have to get them in swim lessons. That's the number one defense, is teaching our children to swim. And they don't have to be Olympians. They just have to know to be able to come to the surface of the water, turn over, and kick and get to the side to save themselves in the event something
No one's expecting your kid to be the next Michael Phelps, but just the basics that can be a life-saving thing here. And I guess if you look hard enough, Judith, and maybe it's even through your organization or a lot of the civic groups, whether it's camps or YMCAs or community centers or whatnot, a lot of these places will offer lessons for free. Is that true?
Absolutely, Bert, and thank you for bringing that up. If you go to any of those types of agencies or a public agency like the City of Summit and you say you desperately want your child to learn to swim, there will be no barriers. We will get you in swimming lessons, absolutely. And Bert, there's something else that's very easy.
Yeah.
If your child is not a good swimmer, or you yourself, life jackets save lives. So swimming lessons save lives, and life jackets save lives. And they got to be the right ones. So if you're hearing my voice today and you're going to go out and buy a life jacket, or the common name now for the really cute ones are puddle jumpers, but look inside and make sure it's a Coast Guard approved life vest. Some of these are imports. They're not properly balanced. So make sure that you look inside and it says that it's approved by the U.S. Coast Guard. Then you know you have the right life jacket. And never, you, me, I'm a very good swimmer, Bert, and I've been a swimmer my whole life, but I don't get in a boat without putting on a life jacket or having it right next to me. and that tragic story about the duck boat,
Oh, yeah.
recently, it just breaks your heart. Just
Yeah.
breaks your heart.
Yeah, and you combine that with, I don't know, maybe not the best decision to be out on the water in those kind of conditions because we saw
Right.
the video. Apparently, it was a storm that had moved in very quickly. But now
Yeah.
you've got people who either aren't great swimmers and weren't prepared and life jackets weren't there or they weren't wearing them. It's a recipe for disaster. It really
A-
was. And that is
Absolutely.
worst case scenario right there.
And it doesn't have to be so dramatic, Bert. A child can drown in 2 inches of water. So, really, I want everybody to check their house. If you have toddlers in your home or even visiting, grandparents have visiting grandchildren, children have drowned in 5-gallon buckets of water,
Yeah.
toilet bowls, the backyard fish pond and koi pond. But the greatest thing to do is to make sure you have barriers around a backyard pool. And if you have any questions, call your local city zoning office, building office, call your local health department for the rules. But every backyard pool, and by the way, Bert, that's where most of these drownings happen, is in backyard pools, and often during parties.
Wow.
Because no one's really being a water watcher. But make sure there's a locked barrier gate. And if in your neighborhood someone has a pool and after they were inspected they took down that fence, go have a cup of coffee with them and talk to them, because toddlers and children have wandered on a hot day, not only from their own house but all the way up the street, and wind up drowning in a neighbor's swimming pool. So safety, locked gates, swimming lessons, life jackets, and we don't have to pick up the news and hear or see another headline.
Yeah.
Be with
Exactly.
your child.
Right. Never too late, is it, Judith, to learn to swim for parents or
Never.
grandparents? Never, right?
Never. And Bert, it's interesting. Statistically, parents that don't swim usually have children that don't swim. And you may not know this, but years ago you couldn't get out of a New Jersey college or university without proving you could save yourself. And
Wow.
that was fabulous. That's how I earned a living in college, teaching all these jocks that would sink to the bottom, how to get out of school by learning how to save yourself. But that all went away, along with some of the physical education departments that did have swimming lessons. And we have got to focus on this. It's a needless tragedy. And we saw it with Bodie Miller, Olympian,
Yeah.
whose little girl died in a backyard swimming pool with people all around her. So we have to be better, more responsible. I wouldn't leave my little great-nephew, who's 4, in a shopping mall more than a hand away from
Sure.
me.
Of course.
Why would I do it with water?
Yeah.
And the best lifeguards in the world, the best run facilities in the world, we have a saying in the business, it's not if, it's when.
Yeah.
And lifeguards responding beautifully are just heroes, but parents are the lifesavers.
You're right. Well, we've still got a lot of summer and a lot of summer celebrations
Yeah.
to go, Judith. So hopefully we'll get through this summer and again.
And don't go to an unguarded beach at
Right.
the ocean. Don't do it. Rip currents have called for 5 lives already this summer.
Yeah.
You have to follow the flags, and you have to follow the instructions.
You're right.
And then swimming is a beautiful thing. It should be joyous. It shouldn't be sad.
You're right. Judith Leblein, always a pleasure and always great to hear your voice on WCTC, that's for sure. But
Love you, Bert, and all the WCTC listeners, and I'll talk to you soon.
likewise, keep up the life-saving work, Judith, all right?
Thank you.
All right, great to speak with you. All right, Judith Leblein, there she